What's going on, everybody? The Plume Platoon. I like that. I've never heard that one. I like that one. The Plume Platoon. Is that going to be the name of my members? The Plume Platoon? Interesting. What's up, everyone? How's everyone doing on this fine Saturday night? It's fine Saturday night. What's everyone up to? I've been having fun going live lately, so I'm back live again. Just wanted to talk games, wanting to talk Xbox, wanting to talk game news, all of that type of stuff. Yeah, we have. I want to go over some new stuff that I didn't really make a video about this week. There was some stuff that I didn't get to. We'll talk about that. From like Starfield rumors with id Software to where? Here's my list here. Where's my list? We'll go over some more CMA, or not CMA, Activision Blizzard stuff. There's obviously some CMA info in there. Some more info is coming out. Next week should be a huge week if the articles are correct, right? That's one thing with the CMA and with the, I don't know why I keep saying the CMA, with the Activision Blizzard acquisition. You guys remember leading up to the CMA decision. Now I make videos, I cover the news that comes out. I feel like I did a poll a couple of weeks ago. I was asking you guys if you want to stay updated because it was fast and furious with the news that was coming out, and I was trying to keep you guys as updated as possible. And overwhelmingly the votes were yes, please continue making videos updating us what is going on. I'm literally just reading you guys the news as to what is going on. I'm not telling you to get excited for this deal being passed or blocked. I'm reading the news, and leading up to the CMA decision, the news was saying the deal was going to be approved, and then it got blocked, right? So I'm saying be very cautious about this whole EU stuff. With the Reuters article and everything where they're saying like the deal is going to be passed on Monday. That may not even happen because they have until the 22nd. But even expected to be blocked at this point. I don't really have faith in any of the analysts anymore. I don't have faith in the news articles based off of what happened with the CMA. But we'll see. Maybe this is a different one. Maybe this is one that they actually get right. So we'll talk a bit more about that. And then we'll talk about what do we got here? PlayStation. No one's talking about it. Or when I say no, I shouldn't say no one because I don't watch everyone. But I got tagged in some tweets and looking at more stuff going on PlayStation with layoffs and studios closing or downsizing, games getting canceled, stuff like that. So we'll talk about that, and we will talk about some Summer Games Fest because the entire partners list has been revealed. And then there's also an interesting thing here from the CMA's final report where we get indication of the next gen Xbox console. I think that I'll read through that part of the document and just have a discussion about that. So that will be fun. But how is everybody doing today? Hope everyone's having a good Saturday. Hope everybody is ready to have a good Mother's Day tomorrow. Celebrate your mothers, because I know I wouldn't be around if it wasn't for my mother. None of us would be around if we didn't have mothers. We wouldn't even be born. So we should just celebrate for that fact alone. But yeah, not drinking a beer tonight. I'm actually drinking a little bit of whiskey instead. Been a rough week, so having a little bit of whiskey. Not actually, but I just decided to change it up. Maybe have a glass of wine later. My wife wants me to have a glass of wine in celebration of her Mother's Day weekend, so I may have that later. Had a good time this afternoon. Was at a barbecue. Ate some good food. I'm on here talking games with you guys. See everyone here in the chat. What's up? Rachy, Sherwin, Danny Passion official, Phil My Drip, Ben, Matthew. How's everyone doing? Gluten-free alcohol. I thought, wow, like my hand was here. I thought something was like coming into the screen, so I was getting scared. Is whiskey gluten-free? I don't even know. What's my nose? Did I cut my nose? Those guys. don't even know how I did that. Or did I? Is that like Is that like chocolate cake? Can't even tell what's going on with my nose here. I think it's like chocolate. I think that's like remnants of chocolate cake. Yeah, that's coming off. I got some. That's embarrassing. Because that's coming right off. That's some. I had some chocolate cake, and I don't know how I got some on the top of my nose, but that's my life. Didn't know I was a Habs fan. I'm a huge Habs fan. Huge Habs fan. So much so that it affects my life. Like they stress me out. I lose sleep over them. Luckily, I don't have to stress because they're bad right now and they're not in the playoffs. But I was very happy to see the Leafs be eliminated last night because I absolutely hate the Leafs, and I was very happy to see the Bruins be eliminated in the first round because I hate the Bruins. So I gotta really give kudos to the Florida Panthers, who single-handedly took out my two most hated teams, the Boston Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Nobody saw that coming, but I'm pumped that they did that. So I'm cheering for Florida to win the Stanley Cup. I hope the Panthers win the Stanley Cup. I don't think they'll do it, but I would love to see them win now after taking out my two most hated teams. James Ramos, welcome to Plume Pass. I appreciate that. If you guys are jumping in the chat here, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe if you're new here, and share it around, all that type of stuff. And if you want to join Plume Pass, it's $1 per month. Just kind of, just thank you, I guess, for the content I make, but absolutely no obligation. I at some point I think I'm going to try to. I talk about trying to do more because I make a video a day essentially, so it's a lot of work. But I want to expand the channel out. I want to grow it. I have so many ideas in mind. Maybe like Discord, a forum, expanding out my membership, doing more consistent streaming, all that type of stuff that I eventually do want to get to. But I would love any suggestions that you guys have what type of stuff you like other than the daily videos. I think live streaming you guys enjoy when I come on here just talking about games. So I'll probably try to do more of that. But in terms of like the memberships, if I create another tier of the membership, other type of exclusive things, which I have to look into what you guys would be interested in for that. But yeah. So let's get going on. The first, let's just start off here with talking about the CMA and the Activision Blizzard acquisition, because there are some articles here. There's an article that came out here from Seeking Alpha called Microsoft Activision Blizzard, Can the CMA Decision Ruin the Deal? And we'll just, one second here. Just pull it up. That's the right one. Yep, that's the one. So there's this article here. I saw this launched a couple days ago, and I thought it'd be interesting just to read through and what they say, because as we know right now, with the CMA and with Activision Blizzard, they're going to appeal. They have to go through the CAT right now. And from my video from yesterday, there's a 25 to 30% chance they're saying that the CAT will okay the appeal, like push it through. So that's not a very high chance. I mean, there's more chance that they won't, and overall statistically I believe that most appeals don't win. But this is an article here from Seeking Alpha, and let's just go through it. It says the UK's Competition and Markets Authority said that it would prevent Microsoft from acquiring Activision Blizzard for $69 billion. Following the announcement, the Activision stock fell 10%. Many analysts, including Microsoft's, were expecting the deal to be approved and therefore were surprised by the news. The problem with the CMA is it's too hard to challenge their decision, as the regulator gets the final word either way. Thus, the deal is on the verge of collapse, and the plans of the companies to complete the process by June 30th are simply unrealistic now. At the same time, I think the arguments that the UK's watchdog uses can easily be challenged. And we kind of saw a little bit about that from their own government in a LinkedIn post from the Prime Minister. Let me just change my title quickly so people know I'm talking about some Activision Blizzard stuff. Basically wanting to, sorry, one sec. wanting to promote more innovation and more mergers and all of that, and wanting to have less regulation on this type of stuff. And I would guess, like, I don't live in the UK, I don't really know too much about their government, but I would guess a lot of this is prompted by the fact that the CMA blocked this merger, because this is just, it seems too coincidental that the PM would come out with something like that just a couple of weeks after one of the biggest decisions, I think, for a merger that has been made in the country. I mean, it is the biggest video game acquisition ever, right? It would have sweeping effects across the gaming industry. That's just a fact, because it is the biggest one ever, with the biggest publisher, all of that type of stuff. And actually we have it here with Rishi Sunak, who is the prime minister. And he made this big LinkedIn post here and talking about British businesses and wanting it to thrive, saying that to do that, we need a regulatory system in the UK that doesn't get in the way. It needs to allow companies to get on with doing what they do best, creating jobs and growing the economy. We already announced the Edinburgh reforms, a set of reforms to drive growth and competitiveness in the financial services sector. This week's package of regulatory reform will promote enterprise by capitalizing on our Brexit freedom, slashing red tape for thousands of businesses, saving £1 billion pounds for employers across the country. And also goes on here, number 5, which is like the most important thing I would say when it comes to this deal. It says we'll encourage innovation, investment, and growth by announcing 2 strategic policy statements to steer our regulators. This week, we've published the first of those statements for consultations on energy policy. Next up is our strategic steer to the CMA, the Competition and Markets Authority. So right there, right, like they're seeing that everything that the CMA is potentially thinking that maybe they have too much power, maybe they're stopping innovation. I think honestly, this whole deal, this entire thing here with Activision Blizzard, I know a lot of people, like I'm not somebody who thinks that the whole industry should be consolidated, but I truly believe, even like, let's put aside my preference of Xbox as my main platform right now, as someone who, that's where I do most of my gaming. I truly believe this deal would have been better overall for the entire gaming industry, no matter where you are as a gamer. Now, from a business perspective, you could say, hey, PlayStation, obviously PlayStation has a reason to want to block this deal. And that reason is they don't want to be paying millions and millions of dollars to their direct competitor to help their direct competitor grow, which would absolutely that's what they would be doing with this, with Call of Duty. Even though they would be able to keep Call of Duty and still make a ton of money off of it, they would be paying lots of money to Xbox, who then is kind of offsetting the PlayStation effect, because PlayStation is paying them all this money that they can reinvest. But overall, from a gamer's perspective, you look at Xbox's strategy. And Xbox's strategy, in my opinion, is far better to gamers than PlayStation strategy. And I can give you a couple of reasons. First of all, the access, right? The access of being able to play on any device. Xbox, my main platform, but I play on my PC. I play on my Xbox. I probably play on my Xbox the most, to be honest, but I play on my PC, I play on my Xbox. I play on my Steam Deck, which will hopefully be the ROG Ally soon, as I'm trying to sell my Steam Deck so I can pick up an ROG Ally. I play on my, I've played on my iPad via cloud gaming, also just via remote play. Like, I've played on so many different devices because in fact I play on my browser. All of these things I think are just great for gaming compared to what PlayStation does, which is literally locking you in to one place to play, right? You can play on PC. They're putting their games on PC. They've opened up PlayStation Mobile. There is remote play. So there are different avenues, but it's like not even close to what Xbox offers. And I think that's far better. So if we're getting more games that are going to take advantage of all of that access, I think is a good thing. And you saw them saying, hey, small company A, small company B, small company C, you guys get Call of Duty, you guys get Call of Duty, you guys get Activision, and you guys get Activision, right? Pretty much being the Oprah of gaming here, giving it to everybody who wanted it with royalty-free licensing. Whereas if this deal completely does get blocked, there is like, what's the chance? What's the chance that Activision just all of a sudden becomes Mr. Nice Guy in stream and is like, hey, yeah, you streaming services, you can have it anyways. I don't think so. I don't think Activision is going to do that. So if it gets blocked, I think it hurts more people than it helps. And then you also have to think about the employees at Activision, going over to a company that clearly is a better work environment. You can say what you want. Microsoft isn't perfect. They've had their issues, right? They've had their issues of employment. Every huge company does. It's inevitable. I don't know why people they're selective when they use this, but even small companies have their issues. But big corporations, obviously, no matter, it's impossible to avoid some of the terrible things that go on. But I guess from what we've seen from Microsoft, and I think they've been winning awards for one of the best employers, even like through Glassdoor, you go there and it's just like tons of people speaking positively about it as a workplace. It would be better for their employers as well. So, I mean, overall, I think the deal going through is better for gamers themselves. And if you're a PlayStation fan, I don't even see why you'd want this deal to be blocked. If you're just a PlayStation gamer, because Microsoft even offered these games into PlayStation Plus, right? So you potentially could be getting Call of Duty in the subscription service and be saving the $70 every year. So it's like all these little things that set aside fanboyism. I think for the general consumer and the general gamer, no matter where you play, even if you're on Nintendo at this point, as your main platform, because we know Call of Duty was going to Nintendo, it's better for gamers, but obviously right now the CMA has blocked it. So continues on here, it says, what happened and why no one expected it? All right, so we'll read through this. And again, this is what I said right at the start of this video. Nobody expected this. All the news was saying it was going to be passed by the CMA. It says, in March, the CMA released a document where they said it no longer expected the deal to result in substantial lessening of competition in the console gaming services market. Thus, they almost completely abandoned the thesis that were presented in February. Many expected it to be approved. Now I have to pat myself on the back here because I read my comments and people they're just making false claims about like, oh, I said it was going to go through all this stuff. I said in a lot of my videos, I don't know how of all of them, but in a ton of my videos before the CMA made their decision, I clearly talked about the fact that they made a huge decision here, which is great for the potential of this deal going through, which was no longer expecting the deal to result in the substantial lessening of competition for consoles. But what I kept saying was, guys, there's two other major things they're looking at: cloud and enforcement. And cloud, I think, is going to be the big one. And what happened? Cloud was the thing that got this deal blocked. So I'm patting myself on the back for that, and I don't care what anybody says. It says here, we have therefore provisionally concluded that the merger may not be expected to result in an SLC in the market for the supply of console gaming services in the UK. However, just a month later, they published this, a 418-page report full of analysis of the potential merger, based on which it was concluded that the merger would result in SLC of the cloud gaming market. There are many interesting points made in this report that I would like to discuss. So this should be pretty, it's a long article, but I think it'll be pretty interesting to go through this stuff, kind of what this article thinks about the decisions. What's up, everyone? If you're jumping in here, I see 132 of you in here, 32 of you in here. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, all of that stuff. Now, before I continue, I just want to make sure of one quick thing here. Just see. I want to make sure I have. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so we'll go through and see what they say, because I think there's going to be some interesting stuff here. So it says, there are many interesting points made in the report that I would like to discuss. Arguments look unfounded. Microsoft will have a clear advantage in legal battles. It says, we consider, however, that the popularity of Activision's games on consoles and gaming PCs is indicative of its importance for cloud gaming services now and in the near future. On consoles, we found that Call of Duty is an important game and that alternatives with similar levels of game time, revenue, and engagement are limited on PC. The evidence indicates that Call of Duty and WoW are among the most played games in the UK, and Overwatch is also reasonably popular. The no alternative position for Call of Duty and WoW statement looks strange, as they basically acknowledged that there is nothing special about these games in the console market in their previous reports. So why will those games suddenly become special in the cloud? They wouldn't. They absolutely wouldn't become special cloud. To be completely honest, who wants to play Call of Duty in the cloud, right? Nobody. I shouldn't say nobody, but I'm being a bit hyperbolic. But like, how many people actually want to play first-person shooters via the cloud? I don't know. You guys out there in the chat, do you guys play first-person shooters via Xbox Cloud Gaming? I know it's like one of the last type of genres I'll ever play on cloud gaming, just because it's a first-person shooter and you need you need as little latency as possible, especially if you're playing online. If you're playing a single player, it's okay. It's not as bad. But if you're playing online, I don't see why anybody would choose to play Call of Duty on the cloud online. I mean, there's so many options out there of other ways to play it, but it's one of those games. No, World of Warcraft, if they brought that to the cloud, that would be one absolutely you could play through the cloud and have a great experience, right? That one would make sense, but it's not there now. So all of a sudden they're going to put it in the cloud and everyone's going to start playing WoW. WoW is a game that you don't even, I haven't played WoW in a while, but you don't need a very powerful piece of hardware to play World of Warcraft, right? Like, what are the minimum specs of World of Warcraft? So I don't know. I kind of agree. Like, why would that all of a sudden become like special games in the cloud? I don't think they would be. They're just kind of projecting. They're guessing that sometime in the future they may become popular, but yeah, I don't see it. It says here, Activision's position is actually what matters. The company said that they have taken a clear stance not to provide their games to cloud streaming services. So who is going to make this input if the studio doesn't want its games in the cloud? There's no evidence that Activision Blizzard will change its mind anytime soon. It turns out that the watchdog itself put at risk the presence of Call of Duty and WoW in the cloud streaming market because Microsoft has already entered into the 10-year agreements with NVIDIA, Booster, Ubisoft, and VMware. And that's the thing, right? Why would Activision put these games in the cloud if this deal gets blocked? They're not going to. I'm like 90% sure. I'm going to give myself the 10% of being unsure, but I don't see at any point why would they want to put it in the cloud? Why would the number one selling game, no matter what, on every single platform, why would they want to put it in the cloud? And the CMA blocking this deal jeopardizes that fact, right? Jeopardizes that fact that these people on these services, NVIDIA, GeForce Now, Booster, Ubisoft, Anywhere, any other service that wants it, they're not going to get access to these games if the deal gets blocked. What I think will be the most interesting thing will be if it does fully get blocked. Like, let's say the EU comes out on Monday, blocks the deal. I think it's like dead if that happens. If the EU comes out Monday, blocks it, it's just absolutely dead, in my opinion. But what do I know, right? I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an analyst. I'm just a guy with a mic on the internet. But let's say they block it, okay? If they completely block it and Activision, they're just going back to operating, they're just going to continue to do the same things that they're doing. They're not going to be like, okay, well, because since they blocked it, let's invest more resources in putting these games in the cloud. Let's go and spend all this money to make these deals that we absolutely don't need to make. We can just continue operating the same way and we're going to be making a ton of money. And people could say, oh, but look at the company before Microsoft made this deal. Look at their stock price, all type of stuff. But like, what hurt Activision Blizzard before this deal was announced wasn't the performance of Call of Duty. I don't believe it was all of the scandals that came out, all of the harassment stuff that came out. That's what hurt Call of Duty. It wasn't the game itself, right? It wasn't their business specifically. It wasn't like the actual products. It was the harassment, the illegal stuff that was going on. That's what hurt it. And at this point, it's going to be a couple years behind them. It's probably not going to hurt them as much. It's the reality, right? Especially if like the next Call of Duty continues to sell really well, like there's going to be positivity around the company. If they kind of turn things around, they've put things in place to have a better working environment. It's not going to help it hurt them as much. So why would they put it in the cloud? I don't see them doing it, and blocking this deal is going to hurt gamers. And let's say the EU comes out Monday and they pass the deal. If you live in the UK and your Xbox and all you have to do is just exclude cloud gaming from the UK. I think Xbox will probably just do that, honestly, which sucks for UK gamers. Like xCloud, imagine they're just like, you can't get xCloud because of this. That's even a thing. That's what some analysts were saying, that there's an avenue of them to get this deal approved. So it's a lose for gamers right now with everything that's happened, in my opinion, in terms of the CMA blocking it. But they believe that they are protecting a nascent market. So that's why they're doing it. So continue on here. It says here, what other behavioral remedies are possible in this situation? This market hasn't been attractive for new big players. This is well illustrated by the situation with Google Stadia, which had to be closed since the idea did not find a response from consumers. Microsoft has an agreement with almost all the major players in this market, but the CMA does not believe that this is enough. And here's what the CMA says. They say, the estimates for the UK show that Microsoft's share in the cloud gaming market increased from 30 to 40% in 2021 to 60 to 70% in 2022. In 2022, it had over redacted as many average monthly active users as the next biggest service, PlayStation Cloud Gaming. I don't never recall them calling it that, but I guess that's what the CMA refers to it as. Whilst it is not possible to determine how many users xCloud would have as a standalone service, the evidence described above indicates that cloud gaming attracts users to the Xbox Game Pass something, Xbox XG, I don't know, whatever, and that a significant proportion of users would be willing to pay extra for it. So they say, well, Xbox Cloud Gaming is part of the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, that's what XGPU is. Subscription. The regulator considered that it is the factor of having a cloud service in the subscription that makes users pay for it. Now, this to me, again, let me know in the chat. You know, I should do a poll. Can I make a poll quickly in here? How do I make a poll? Give me 1 second. Let me know in the chat what if you have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, okay? Let me just open this up here. How do I get here? If you have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, why do you have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate? Is it for here, let me just start a poll. Is it for cloud gaming? Or is it just for the catalog of games being able to play anywhere else? For cloud gaming, or I'm just gonna put other in case there's other, because I don't really know if there's any other reason, but I'm going to ask you guys if you want to vote on that poll. Don't make me look like an idiot here. Don't give me 0 votes here, guys. I need a couple votes on here. Let me know why you have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, because I think that like I feel like that's a stupid conclusion to come to, that people subscribe to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate just for that. You know what Xbox should do if they just want to actually circumvent this? Just make a tier of just being able to subscribe to Xbox Cloud Gaming, like $5 a month, and you get Xbox Cloud Gaming. That's it. I'm sure it would take off. I feel like it would definitely take off. I think a lot of people would actually do that. I subscribe to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate because I play on PC and because I play on console, and I just want to have all the perks of EA Play, or whatever it's called, EA Access, EA Play, right? Like all that stuff I like. So that's why I subscribe to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Says this cannot be substantiated as it is impossible to determine how many users are using xCloud. XGPU is mostly popular due to the price factor and the price as well. Like pay $10 a month, or I think this is in USD, pay 10 or $11 a month, or pay $15 a month and get just way more, right? Due to the price factor, because it includes Xbox Game Pass, PC Game Pass at the same time. EA Play is added at no extra cost, a great mix of games and huge discounts. xCloud is more of a nice addition, but apparently CMA just included all the XGPU users without disassembling them. That is, Microsoft doesn't have such a strong position. That was another big thing, right? They included all of the users in Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, thinking that all of them use cloud gaming. Like my percentage of using cloud gaming with my Ultimate subscription is probably like 5%, if that. Honestly, it's like a lot of it is when I'm on my Steam Deck and I don't want to load up my Windows partition on it, and I'm already in SteamOS and I'm just lazy and I just go to cloud gaming and just play it through there. It's basically the main time I use cloud gaming. But other than that, honestly, it's like I always rather just downloading the games. So the CMA is real dumb for this section here. They obviously did zero homework on this. They just saw, oh, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate has this many. This is a big percentage of Game Pass subscribers. So this must mean they all subscribe to Play Cloud Gaming, which just makes absolutely no sense. They don't understand the market at all. It says, but there are other claims that are not related to the streaming services market. It says, absent the merger, Activision would seek to maximize the value that it can derive from these games, which would have involved considering making non-Windows PC versions of its games. Call of Duty games can't work on Linux though, and why would they even think of moving their product outside of the Windows system? Now, this was a question I asked when I first read this, and I was streaming, and I got people saying, oh, you can play on Linux, oh, you can play on Mac. And I totally understand you can play games on these operating systems, but how many people are playing PC games on a Linux or a Mac? It's got to be a very, very tiny percentage of people, right? There's no way it's significant whatsoever to make any real big effect on this market at all. It doesn't make any sense in my opinion. So, and I guess they even mentioned here, it says Linux accounts for 2.91% of the global desktop PCs, right? That's like nothing with the amount of PCs out there. Well, computers with other systems, Mac and Chrome, are just not designed for gaming. I mean, yeah, like, have you ever tried playing a game on a Mac? I have. It sucks. What are the prerequisites for changing the situation? That's unclear. At the same time, other very important points are being ignored. As for Microsoft's plans to enter the mobile gaming market, we found that these plans were far from certain, especially in current circumstances where the largest mobile OS, Google's Android and Apple iOS, either currently prohibit rival mobile gaming app stores or impose strict limits on the ability to monetize content. Oh, that went down the wrong pipe. Oh, that hurts. You guys ever do that? When you take a sip and it goes down the wrong, oh my God, pipe, and then your entire chest hurts? Especially if there's like fizzy water in that. Damn it. Sorry. That really hurt. Ugh. It really, really hurt. Yeah, I think I've recovered. Deep breath. Okay. Oh man. That was terrible. All right. I'm back. I hope. That really hurt. Okay. Sorry, guys. I just don't want to cry on the stream. So I'm trying to gather myself here because I've completely lost my my composure. Yeah, mobile gaming. We know that's why they want to get into mobile gaming. And or why they wanted this deal to go through. The main thing they're saying is mobile gaming. And I think, and it's always, I'm not sure, again, I'm not trying to be biased here. Like, cause my bias is clear in the sense that Xbox is my main platform. Like everyone who watches my channel knows that, but just, I'm trying to be as objective as possible. Wouldn't it be better for Apple and Google to have at least a third competitor in there challenging them on mobile? Wouldn't that be better for competition in general? And isn't mobile gaming such a more important market than a nascent cloud gaming market that has shown over the last number of years it is not even close to being ready to take off? Isn't that far more important? Like, to me, that's a no-brainer. That's a far more important thing that if you're a regulatory body, you're looking at this and bringing competition into the mobile side of gaming is a very good thing for consumers. Like, it's a duopoly right now. It's Google, it's Apple. That's it, right? That's it. And there's nobody jumping in here to make some sort of competition. And Xbox is trying to, Microsoft is trying to, they see it as a market. And I think that is just such a better thing for gamers, for everything. And you think about the future of mobile gaming. I hate mobile gaming, like on my phone. I don't play any mobile games. I played that Doom game for like 20 minutes and it was fun, but like, that's it. Like, I couldn't do it anymore. I just can't do it. But I can see, like, at some point in the near future that we're getting like almost AAA style games on our phones. Like, these devices that we have are getting more and more powerful. And at some point we're going to maybe be getting like a full Doom, right, on our phone, or maybe like the next, whenever Elder Scrolls come out, maybe somehow that's going to be on our phone. Like we're already seeing these mobile handheld PCs with AAA games they're bigger now, but like think about how technology happens, right? They come out with these bigger devices that are mobile, and then they're going to start shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. Soon we're going to see handheld PCs that are half the size or 75% of the size of the ROG Ally when that comes out. Like it's just going to happen. That's how the technology generally goes. So I feel like, shouldn't that be the most important thing that they're focusing on? To me, that's a good thing. If Microsoft can get in here and challenge Apple and Google, especially what we saw with like the Apple iOS App Store, where they're clearly doing anti-competitive things, like what they did with Xbox Game Pass. For Xbox, the only way they could get Game Pass to consumers on Apple was through the browser, because Apple wanted to control the entire ecosystem of Game Pass and saying, you can't put out an Xbox Game Pass app because we would have to literally go out and check every single game in the service. Therefore, the only way around this would be to put out an app for every game. And Microsoft was like, that doesn't make any sense. So they went out and they made the web browser workaround, which gave access to cloud gaming to Apple users. So all that stuff, to me, that's all anti-competitive stuff that Apple does. I think Apple is very anti-competitive in the way that they operate, but they make great products. They make very easy to use products. They make high quality products, so people give them a pass and people just let it go. And Xbox was like, hey, we're going to come in here and we're going to try to challenge Apple and Google in the mobile gaming section. And CMA is like, nope, you can't do that. But it continues on here and says, well, Apple and Google will eventually allow third-party app stores in the European region because of the strict regional requirements. That's true. They have to adjust for that. So that's happening in the EU. Similar requirements will likely spread around the world. Thus, the mobile markets can get a very strong player to challenge this oligopoly. Microsoft will be more interested in building its own mobile platform than anyone else. Another big tech company in the market will certainly tip the scales. Apple and Google can make all the game studios Koto, I don't know. But will the second largest corporation be fine with it? And yes, this market is very big, way bigger than cloud gaming will ever get. Ever. Like mobile will always be bigger than the cloud gaming market. So they're just kind of ignoring that with their decision so far on this deal right now. And quick stop here. What's up, everybody? I see there's about 200 and what do we got here? 218 of you guys in here. Welcome, appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. Hit the like, share, all that type of stuff. And we're just talking about Activision Blizzard. We're talking about some other news. It's kind of a hangout stream. Hope everyone is having a good night, and hope everyone has a good Mother's Day weekend. Tell all your mothers that you love them, and it's very important, because I'm going to tell my mother I love her, and tell my wife that I love her too, because she's a mother too. So all those type of things are great. I don't know why I went on that Mother's Day rant here, but I think it's important. Now we're going to continue. Also, the CMA should recognize not only that merger will not lead to an increase in SLC in the console market, but will also contribute to more fierce competition. There's nothing so special about Activision games. We've been there already. However, it would allow Sony's biggest competitor to challenge its market leadership. I believe such a decision should be easy to challenge at the legislative level. Okay. Next up, is the deal dead though? Now, this is the big question, and I've made some videos talking about this in terms of what some analysts have been saying. And I have trouble, like I always say, I've said this in my last couple of videos for sure, just like anytime you're seeing information come out that, oh, the deal is going to pass, oh, this analyst says it's going to go through, take it with caution, because previous to the CMA making their decision, analysts were saying that the deal was going to it's going to go through, no problem, right? But essentially, and the analysts were all wrong. The CMA came out and blocked the deal. So take all of this news with caution for sure. But is the deal dead? Of course not. Now Microsoft is set to file an appellation to the CAT, the Competition Appeal Tribunal, which according to the UK's Enterprise Act can only make the CMA review the case one more time while changing some of the processes. Now, the European Commission's decision is also important since its approval, with or without behavioral remedies, will leave the FTC and the CMA practically alone. Microsoft will be able to use the decision of the strong regulator as an evidence base for the wrong actions of watchdogs from the US and the UK. The deal, if regulators would give the green light, is likely to be closed only in 2024 or 2025, given how long such cases take in the UK. Now, this to me is a big piece of information. This is a big piece of information here. 2024 or 2025 for the case to be closed in the UK. And if it gets approved in the EU, if Microsoft gets approved by the FTC, either by making a deal or they go to court August 2nd and they beat the FTC and it gets pushed through or whatever, I just hope, because at that point, Microsoft is going to continue with this appeal. They're not going to give up, I'm assuming. I just hope that, because it's been already so long, that like waiting to 2024 or 2025 doesn't take Microsoft's focus or Xbox's focus away from what they currently have. Like, that's my biggest thing here with this entire deal. Going through or not, whatever, right? If it goes through, great, more games coming to Xbox Game Pass. I think it's better for the gaming industry. I think it's better for more access for these games. If it gets blocked, whatever. If you're an Xbox fan, Microsoft still has 23 studios. They still have some of the biggest franchises coming out. They still have Starfield, which I think, in my opinion, unless something crazy happens, could be a generational game. Like, there's still so much to come out from Xbox that's going to be very, very good. I hope that they don't lose focus as to what is important, and that is what they currently are working on. Like, that's the most important thing at the end of the day. So going to 2024, 2025 is kind of like, it's a long time, but I'm sure at the end of the day, it helps their business to get this thing pushed through. Sanchez, MTC Gaming, with the $5 super chat. What are your thoughts on Monday's decision by the EU plume? Well, my thoughts are, just going to get this up here for you. My thoughts are that Reuters, that article, they're saying that the deal is going to be approved on Monday. And if it gets approved on Monday, I think it's a huge step forward for this deal. I think it helps the Microsoft with the FTC case. I also think that it potentially will help their appeal in the CMA. They have all of this evidence-based information here that they can use in order to help push this deal through. But besides that, I say take all of the stuff coming out, the deal will be approved on Monday with a lot of caution, because like I've said multiple times, they said that other stuff was going to be pushed through. They said that they said that the CMA was going to be, just trying to get this up. They said that the CMA was going to approve the deal, and they didn't, right? So just be cautious. I know there's a lot of analysts out there saying that Monday's the day, but again, remember, they have all the way until the 22nd. So if it doesn't come Monday, doesn't mean there's no decision. They have till May 22nd to make a final decision. And if it doesn't come Monday, based off of what the analysts are saying, because they're so confident so far, or at least that Reuters article seemed pretty confident, then I'd be a little bit more worried that the deal isn't going to get approved, because maybe they've changed their mind over the last couple of days since that has been published. And it almost seems like that's what happened with the CMA decision, is analysts, articles, stuff was coming out saying, okay, they got rid of the console thing as a factor as to why they want to block this deal. And people were all happy and excited that the deal was going to be approved, but they still blocked it based off of the cloud gaming side of things. So we'll see what happens, but I think Monday's exciting. I hope that a decision is made, and I hope we can talk about it, because I will definitely be talking about it on Monday. But I appreciate the $5 super chat, Sanchez, MTC Gaming, and we'll see what happens. Let's continue on here. So could go all the way 2024, 2025, which is a long ass time horizon for this deal to, because it's already been like a year, right? Maybe even a year and a bit. Now, this next part here. What does this mean for Microsoft? Now, this is like a bunch of numbers, and I don't know if this is like financial stuff, but we'll see what it says. It may seem that investors appreciate the decision of the British regulators. Microsoft shares have risen 13% since the publication of the report. Okay, I wonder why they thought this. They think this is a good thing, but I guess they do. However, in my view, this was mainly due to a strong quarterly report published by the corporation on the same day. I think this is a very good deal for Microsoft, and it's important for investors to be reminded of that. For $69 billion, Microsoft would get 400 million monthly active players around the world. That's huge, because we know that their big thing is monthly active users as to how they measure their success. People love still to talk about console sales, but I think it's pretty clear, especially after their last financial reports where they were down hardware 30%, and they attribute it to not having enough supply, that their focus is on monthly active users, at least right now. Do I agree with that? Do I think it's a good thing? No, not really. Like, I hope that they still continue to focus on console. Like Phil Spencer said in his interview, they want it. Xbox console is at the core of the brand, but they got to prove that, right? Because it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to prove it. Redfall obviously didn't prove it. We'll see with the next big release with Starfield, and we'll see if they start upping their production. I feel like leading up to Starfield, the production of the Xbox consoles is going to be just way more. Like, they're going to get a lot more supply out there. They're going to have Starfield plastered all over the box. They're going to market the hell out of the Series X and the Series S and Starfield as a way to play the game. So I think that's going to have a huge effect on the ecosystem, on getting more supply out there for the Xbox consoles. It says easy access to 100 billion mobile gaming market with at least 2.6 billion revenue, and Call of Duty and other games on Xbox Game Pass, which will further increase the popularity of games as well as increase the attractiveness of Xbox over PlayStation, which will help to grow market share faster and more aggressively. It would. I think it would. But one thing that they're not keeping in mind here is that if you're just a Call of Duty gamer, Xbox is, I think, willing to give Call of Duty to PlayStation in their subscription service. If you're just a Call of Duty gamer, you've been playing on PlayStation your entire life, you have all your friends on PlayStation, you're probably not going to go out and buy an Xbox. You're probably still going to go and just play it on PlayStation. It's going to be in the subscription service if they do give it to them. But if they don't, which they said in their documents that I think they offered it. I'm pretty sure they said that. But in terms of a PS Plus, but let's say they just give it to them at the $70, then that's a big thing, right? Like, even if you're just a Call of Duty gamer, I don't care what anybody says. You're looking at it next year, you're like, damn, $70 for Call of Duty that comes out every single year is worth $70? Probably not, because it's just this like a slight iteration. Especially from the rumors that we're hearing that it's going to be MW3 next year. It's going to be very similar, I think, to MW2. But you're looking at $70, or I can pay $10, $15, whatever subscription you want to get with Xbox. And I not only getting Call of Duty, I'm getting all of these other games that I'd be wanting to check out, right? There's tons of Xbox is the first person shooter console, right? If you're a first person shooter fan, you can't ignore the fact that I can get Call of Duty on that subscription service, plus I can get Doom, plus I can get Halo, plus I can get Overwatch, and whatever perks come along with that. Plus I can get Wolfenstein. Like, all of these first-person shooter games, you're probably going to lean towards that. Let's say, all in all, ABK as part of the gaming division of the corporation will allow not only to compete in equal terms with the main competitor in the console market, but also to work on a scale and occupy every niche in the gaming market as a whole. The collapse of the deal means that Microsoft will likely remain in a weak position in the gaming market. Xbox only accounts for 16% of console units sold in 2021 and only for 10% of exclusive titles. Essentially, the CMA decision means that Microsoft will be mired in legal battles for at least another year. And this analysis right here is like so telling, right? As to when they talk about anti-competitiveness and hurting the market. Like, look at these numbers. Xbox, PlayStation is the leader. They're the leader compared to Xbox. And they have Nintendo in there, but we know that these regulators don't even consider Nintendo a competitor, which is absurd. I mean, we just had Zelda come out, which is going to be like, the thing's going to sell like crazy, and the Switch is going to sell like crazy, and just the popularity of that is more popular than anything on either platform. But look at Sony, Nintendo, and Xbox exclusive titles in 2021. All right, that's doesn't really help. I don't know what that would mean for this deal. But shares of Sony and Nintendo and Xbox console units sold 21, 34 to 16%. Xbox share of global 2021 mobile gaming revenues 0.3%. So there's 99.7% that they're just like, whatever, that's fine. We'll keep that with Google and we'll keep that with Apple. We're not going to allow any other competitor to jump in there, which is insane to me. And then Xbox and ABK shares of global 2021 mobile game revenues. Again, very, very minuscule compared to the rest of the market. At the same time, Microsoft would still walk away with approximately $64 billion in cash if the deal gets blocked. So they still have $64 billion in cash. And this is the question, right? This is the question. What will they do with that $64 billion? That is the biggest thing here. Now give me 1 second here. First of all, I wanted to see what these poll results are from my previous question. Okay, so we got 163 votes right now. Why do you subscribe to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate? And 74% of you are saying for playing PC and console. So the CMA, based off my small little market test here, my small little analysis, right? CMA has no idea what they're talking about when it comes to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. 74% of the voters say that they would get Game Pass Ultimate for playing on PC and console, 7% for cloud gaming, 19% for other. I guess the other would be like what? Games with Gold, EA Play, what else comes with Game Pass Ultimate, other perks, right? But the next question is $64 billion in cash. If the deal gets blocked, what does Microsoft do with that? I think that's like one of the most, for me, when it comes to this entire deal, this is the most interesting thing to me. Not whether the deal is going to go through or get blocked. It's what would Microsoft do if it gets blocked with all of the cash that they're going to have? Are they going to take that and then go right ahead and try to purchase another publisher? Or are they going to just try to reinvest it? Or are they going to go and get third-party deals? Or is Satya Nadella going to come and say, hey guys, you had your chance. You're losing that $64 billion. We're going to take that and put it in other parts of the business. There's so many things I think they could do with it. We have Biggity08 with the $5 super chat. I really appreciate that. It says, where's the answer for cloud and console on the poll? Well, you know what? It's not there. It's not there. You could do cloud and console. That could be, I guess that would be considered as other. I just quickly create this poll. So if that's what you would vote, I would vote for other. But that's definitely a reason why people would sign up to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. They get access to both, right? Reason I put out this poll, if you weren't here at the beginning, was because the CMA was thinking that everybody subscribed to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate were subscribed because of cloud gaming, and I think that's just an absolutely absurd take by the the CMA to think that if you're subscribed to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, you're only doing it because cloud gaming is an option. I think it's an absurd take. I think most people are subscribed. Based off of this poll, we can see is because you can play it on PC, you can play it on your console, and then you get other perks like EA Play. So that's why I asked those questions. But if I'm going to do the poll again, I will put in that option. But appreciate the super chat. So $64 billion in cash. You know what? That's going to be my next poll. Okay, give me 1 second here because I'm interested in what you guys think about this. Here's my next poll. Can I add another poll? Can I have two polls going at the same time? I'm going to add one. I'm going to add another poll here. Thank you for voting on the first one, but I'm going to end that one and I'm going to add another one here. What should Xbox do with $64 billion cash if the deal gets blocked? My dog is snoring extremely loud right now. If the deal gets blocked, try to acquire. Sorry if I'm doing this live right here. Try to acquire another publisher. reinvest in current studios, third party exclusive deals. Is that any other suggestions here? I think that's good. Reinvest in current studios. So try to acquire another publisher, reinvest in current studios, or third party exclusive deals. I have another poll here, guys. Let me know what you guys think about this. Because that's, to me, this is the $1 million question here. This is a $64 billion question here. What are they going to do with that cash? And to me, also quickly, Biggity, thank you again for the 1 month Plume Pass member. Appreciate that. Or renewing your 1 month, because you've been here for a while, I believe, based off of your badge. What should they do with the $64 billion? Reinvest in their current studios, go out and try to get another publisher, or third-party deals. And to me, I think personally that they should just be reinvesting and making sure that their current studios have even more resources to start bringing out the highest tier of games possible. Now, when it comes to quality, the whole quality discussion is such a subjective thing to me. People always think quality, they think about PlayStation. It's like they release very high quality games, but like I'm playing The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom right now, and it's a high quality game 100%, but it's like the gameplay is what's important in that game. Yeah, the cutscenes are cool. The music is absolutely incredible, but the cutscenes, there's tons of the game where it's not even voice acted. Like it's just like you're reading text. But it's the gameplay that's important. When it comes to a lot of PlayStation games, to me, I love God of War Ragnarok, but I gotta admit, even with God of War Ragnarok, it was like it drags on with all of the cutscenes. It drags on with all of the cinematics and stuff. I just want to get in there. I want to play some great games with great gameplay. And Xbox brings more of those games out, in my opinion, compared to PlayStation. So when it comes to the whole quality argument, just create games that have addictingly fun gameplay. There doesn't need to be 10 hours of cinematics that are high production like a movie. There doesn't need to be the most deepest story of all time. There just needs to be great games that are fun to play that people don't want to put down. And I think that's the number one option for me. If for my vote goes to trying to just reinvest right now in what you currently have. And then the other question is, I think when it comes to that 64 billion is a lot to reinvest all of it into that. I think they can kind of do a mix too, right? Like we are seeing what is going on with the industry, especially if the rumors are true about the whole Konami stuff with PlayStation. Like Xbox now at this point, although I don't like timed exclusive deals, I think at this point now, like from a business perspective, Xbox has to start being tougher. They got to start being meaner. They got to go out there and they got to make sure that they are getting deals for Game Pass and making sure that games are showing up exclusively on Xbox Game Pass from third parties, so that it entices more people over to the service and stuff like that, and entices more people over to buying a console. Whereas right now you're having PlayStation go out and just make all of these third-party deals. Well, Xbox is trying to get ABK passed, right? So I'm hoping that in the background they are working on a bunch of third-party stuff that will counter all of PlayStation stuff. If I had it my way, I would just love everything to be accessed everywhere, but obviously that's not the way that's going to be. And maybe at the showcase in June, we're going to see some good third-party deals for exclusivity to Game Pass that are going to be day one Game Pass from third parties. Like even if you think about last year, I think like Outriders was a pretty big third-party deal. Obviously MLB The Show. I'm sure there was some other day one, like Plague's Tale. Like these are big third-party games. They got to continue to get more of those throughout. So that's a lot of cash, 64 billion, to be able to go out and try to do those things. Now, this is funny. It says it would be possible to buy both the second and third Take-Two Interactive and Electronic Arts, for example. So they have enough cash on hand to go out and buy Take-Two, go out and buy EA. Now, would they do that? Doubtful, but they have enough cash to do it. Which to me is it just shows what they could do. And Sony's out here poking the bear with everything that they're going against. Now it says, however, exactly the same regulatory arguments can be applied to these two companies, so such a deal would also not be approved. So, in essence, and they're talking about if Microsoft went out and said, okay, now we're buying EA, it could just get blocked again, right? If it gets blocked, they're going to have a lot of precedents to use as a way to block it. So, that's another thing why I don't think that going out and buying more third parties is a smart decision, at least right away. Maybe in 5 years from now or something, but not right away. So in essence, if the regulators win this case, then the path to expanding Microsoft's gaming segment through mergers and acquisitions will be closed. At the same time, the gaming segment is really important for Microsoft. One thing the corporation lacks is the user experience among everyday users. Activision alone has around 100 million active users. A large consumer base will be a great opportunity to integrate ads into the gameplay. It is essentially important when the company tries to go to the metaverse. The gaming market was valued at $200 billion in 2022. Microsoft would only occupy 2.5% if the deal closes. I don't know too much about the metaverse. Not that into it. I don't know if we've seen already examples of like ads in games, especially free-to-play games. And I think that kind of is going to happen. I think it's kind of a natural progression when more and more free-to-play games come out, as long as the ads aren't too intrusive. Like if you're in a driving game and it's not like a billboard or something as you're driving, they got to make money somehow. But I hope it doesn't like overtake and make these games just like, I hope so bad that you're going to have to get like a third party ad blocker for games like you do on browsers, right? I think I made a video the other day and my ad blocker was off and I didn't realize it until I was done filming. And holy shit, it's just like you can't go through a website anymore. It's unbearable. It's like you can't read anything. It's just ad pop, like it's just impossible. So I hope it doesn't become like that, because that would be brutal. Let's see. I want to see how this poll's going right now. How's what are we at here? 81 votes. What should Xbox do with 64 billion cash if the deal gets blocked? So far, 44% trying to acquire another publisher, 30% reinvest in studios, and 26% third-party exclusive deals. So I'll keep this open for a bit longer, but you guys want that other publisher, huh? You guys want that? Yeah, you guys want that Take-Two. You guys want that GTA exclusive deal, which I don't think would ever happen. If you're GTA, I don't see why you'd ever go exclusive to one platform. It makes zero sense. At the same time, if Microsoft would be able to at least catch up with PlayStation share, it would mean 32% revenue increased in 58.6 billion console market alone. So 2022 global games market per segment with year-on-year growth rates. Like smartphones, of course. See, this is exactly why Xbox wants this deal. And that's why when you see people saying, oh, they're lying, they're not lying. The evidence is in front of our eyes, right? They're not lying. They're actually being extremely transparent, in my opinion. The evidence is right in front of us. 45% of the 2022 global games market were on smartphones. It's far and away the biggest gaming market. Yeah, I don't like mobile gaming. Casual, like to be honest, like it's generally casual gamers. Because it's like, you know, like the bubble popping shit, right? But whatever, like they're playing games, whatever. The money is there for Microsoft. And that's why they want this deal. So when people say, oh no, they're lying. Oh no, it's about Call of Duty. Oh no, it's about this. Oh no, it's about that. No, it's not. The evidence is right in front of our faces. And this is from Newzoo, which is, I don't know how, like they do a bunch of polls and I'm not exactly sure how they get this information, but I'm sure Microsoft has even deeper information, even more analytical information on this, which would be even more transparent as to why they want the mobile gaming market. At the same time, if Microsoft would be able to at least catch up with the PlayStation share, it would mean 32% revenue increase in 58.6 billion console market alone. So company share of 2022 global game console market. Microsoft has 27.3%. Nintendo has 20. It's only a 0.5% behind Nintendo, and Sony has 45%. One of the things too, when it comes to the console market, and this goes all the way back to like the lies that all of these huge influencers, all of these huge media sites put out with Phil Spencer said about the console and not wanting to out console Nintendo or Sony and making it sound like he had given up. This is something Phil Spencer's literally been saying for years and years and years. Their strategy is getting people to play wherever they want. And one of the things, like you look at the global game console market, and there is at no point will Microsoft ever be able to surpass or even really be that competitive with Sony or Nintendo in places like Japan. It's just not going to happen. You look at the Xbox 360 generation, which was a decent generation for them. They had exclusive Japanese games. Like I've watched a lot of videos where people are going and they're going to Japan and they're buying these exclusive Japanese games. It'd be cool to check them out. It didn't make a dent, and it won't make a dent. It's just not going to happen. So when you're talking about the global game console market, Microsoft, in terms of console, it's North America essentially, and it could be the UK and it could be Europe, but it's North America, right? So they'll never be able to surpass them on the global side of things, but where they can beat them and definitely compete at like a 50-50 rate is in the United States and Canada, Mexico. Like in North America, these are where Microsoft competes. So it's such a stupid argument. People are like, oh, they gave up on the console wars. They gave up on the like. Anyways, you guys saw my video explaining what Phil Spencer said, or at least I hope you did. If you haven't, go check that out, because that last week or 2 weeks ago, that stuff was ridiculous. Hey, Peeve, I appreciate that. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. What does this mean for Activision? The deal itself is also incredibly important for Activision, as it's an opportunity to start over with a clean slate under stronger leadership. Yeah, we've talked about all this earlier. Scandals, employees, like all that stuff is better for Activision at the end of the day. At the same time, operating margin is falling short. There's currently no incentive for management to invest in development due to a pending deal. However, if regulators still block it, then Activision will have to rethink its own business model. It is unlikely that the company will be able to stop the decline in the number of users during the recession. Okay, so they think that they're kind of screwed. The company's valuation is excessively high due to the premium that Microsoft is willing to pay if the merger collapses. I think Activision's forward PS should approximate that of its competitors. Right, this is all a bunch of financial stuff. So, conclusion: the CMA dramatically decreased the chances of a successful closing of the deal. Activision Blizzard games look important for Microsoft to get a stronger foothold in the gaming market in the long run. At the same time, Activision is experiencing short-term problems that, in my opinion, will only exacerbate the fall of Microsoft if Microsoft backs out of the deal. Due to a spark of uncertainty about the fate of the deal, Activision Blizzard and Microsoft are both. Okay, so this is just like, yeah. So there you have it. Went through some interesting stuff here, and at the end of the day, when it comes to the CMA, when it comes to their takes on Xbox Game Pass and cloud gaming, when it comes to their takes on the mobile side of the market, where they're just kind of saying, "Oh yeah, we don't care about mobile game. We don't care about that being competitive." Their takes have been absolutely terrible. Sanchez with the gifted 5 Plume Network memberships. I appreciate that, Sanchez. That's awesome. Go check out the membership. It's only $1, but I appreciate that. And you can just help support the channel. So welcome everybody who is new to my membership, Plume Network memberships. Yeah, so there you have it. And I think Monday is going to be, if what they're saying is true, again, be cautious about what they're saying. Monday could be a very big day with the EU, right? Because that's when they're saying they're going to approve it. But again, they also have all the way until the 22nd of May to approve this deal. Now, I had something else here. So this is the appeal process. Where is, I had the timeline of where. Okay, so this is the timeline. If you're wondering what's coming next, like when can we expect more stuff here? Black Rider, welcome to Plume Pass. Appreciate that. Danny Passion Official, welcome Plume Pass. John G. This gives it 5 Plume Network memberships. You guys are too kind, gifting all these memberships. I really appreciate that, John. And thanks for supporting the channel. I see you in the comments, see you in the chat all the time. Here's where the key dates are. May 22nd, provisional deadline, like I said, for the European Commission. May 24th. So 22nd. That's the main date you should keep in your head, especially if Monday doesn't happen. They have till the 22nd to make their deal. The EU has to make their deal, make their decision. May 24th, deadline for an appeal to the Competition Appeal Tribunal, which we know Microsoft is doing. May 2023, decision for the SAMR in China. And we've seen stuff come out previously saying like that China is going to approve this deal, but we'll see. And as well, May 2023 is decision from Korea, the Korean Fair Trade Commission, as well as a decision from the Competition Tribunal in South Africa. And then decisions from Turkey and where I live, Canada. I'm assuming Canada just, I don't know what Canada's going to do. We usually just do whatever the United States does, to be honest. I don't know. I have no idea what our regulatory body, even if they even care about this, I'll probably just approve it. Biggity with the gifting 5 Plume Network memberships again. That's awesome, guys. You guys are really coming out supporting the channel. That's awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that, Biggity. Awesome. June 9th, 2023, decision from New Zealand. July 18th, 2023, the end of the second extension and final outside date in the merger agreement. If Microsoft quits by that date, they have to pay the $3 billion termination fee. Now, I don't expect them to quit. I don't think they will quit, as if they're appealing this go all the way to 2024, 2025. So they're not going to quit July 18th, 2023. So don't expect anything on July 18th in terms of a decision from Microsoft to back out of the deal, at least from what we're seeing. I mean, who knows? Again, like everything, take it with a grain of salt because everything can change. August 2nd, beginning of the FTC in-house trial. So if it does actually go all the way to trial, right? Like this is where things could get interesting too, because we could see a lot of information about deals from the subpoenas, from the more information from the third-party deals from PlayStation. And that's something to me that I was like, honestly, like if it goes to trial, it's not a terrible thing, because we're going to see a lot of interesting stuff here that we will get more insight into the business side of things, or at least if it comes out to the public. And I think some of it probably will, but yeah, that will be an interesting time. Or is the FTC going to make a deal before this? If the EU comes out and approves this deal, will the FTC say, hey, okay, we're going to sit down, we're going to get something passed here in the United States, and then you can just go ahead and do your appeals with the CMA. Matthew gifting 5 Plume Network memberships. Man, the support for this channel right now is crazy with all these memberships being gifted, guys. I really, really appreciate that. That is awesome. And also Peeve 1973 with the 5 Plume Network memberships. I speechless, guys. Thank you. Nonstop now. I appreciate that. Welcome everybody who's now a part of Plume Pass, and thanks to all the guys that are gifting these. Go ahead and thank them too, because it's awesome. And then 2024 decision from the FTC administrative law judge, and then 2024 decision from CAT. So like they say, 2024 and beyond is when this thing could be, we can stop talking about it. We can finally say it's over, it's done with. It either got blocked or got approved, because they are going to appeal it with the CMA. John G with 10 Plume Network memberships. It's nonstop here, guys. This is crazy. I don't even know what to say other than just thank you. It's amazing. Actually, I'm speechless right now. I'm gonna my memberships. I'm gonna go look after the stream, and it's gonna be just like insane. All the members that are part of Plume Network. Appreciate that, guys. Appreciate it. And then if you guys are interested in what the appeal process is, I can read through this. If you're interested, this is from, let's see, who's this from? Appeal process, credit to IDAS. IDAS is the person on Reset Era who just literally takes information from MLEX. MLEX is a database. Because I was confused for a while what MLEX was. I thought it was like, is that somebody involved in the case, in the deal? Is that somebody who is whatever? But MLEX is just a database where it's like regulatory law, regulatory analysis, where you have to, I think it's, you have to be like, you have to get an account, but I think you have to be in the industry to get an account. You have to subscribe to it, all that type of stuff. So that's why he gets all this information I'd ask, and it's able to kind of repost it here on Reset Era. It says, okay, so there's some confusion here about what can and cannot be appealed and how this works with the CMA, and then various linking to CAT and or court cases involving the CMA. I'll try and break this down slightly. Sanchez, thank you for being a member for a month. Awesome. Man, the memberships are booming, guys. Thank you. We were talking about the merger here, which reference the CMA are given jurisdiction for review, provided it meets the requirements therein. Pursuant to the Enterprise Act in the UK, under the Enterprise Act, parties aggrieved by a decision can appeal to CAT. However, and this is the crucial component, CAT will only apply a judicial review standard when reviewing a decision. In other words, they will not engage in the substantive merits of the CMA's decision, but look only as to whether the way in which that decision was made was illegal or otherwise had some procedural impropriety involved. Okay. They're going to look, they're not looking at the decision specifically. They're going to look at if the decision they made was, if there was something off with that decision, if there was bias, stuff like that, right? Impropriety, if there's anything involved with it. And that's broadly speaking, like he says here. As such, CAT will never and cannot, under the Enterprise Act, review a decision of the CMA solely based on the conclusion the CMA came to. Okay, that's good to know. John G, thank you for being a member for 11 months, and also again for gifting all the memberships. Sanchez, again, I appreciate it. 5 more Plume Network memberships gifted. Insane. You guys are insane. Appreciate it. If the CAT determines any of the above has been engaged, it will send the decision back to the CMA again. Okay. So if they look at it and they say, you guys messed up on your decision, there's some bias, some impropriety involved in this decision, they send it back to the CMA. The CMA must then engage the review process again, but of course, fixing the procedural issues that arose, and then it may make another decision. If the CMA makes the same decision, this is essentially the end of the line of appeal. So that is an interesting thing here. CAT says, you guys messed up. Fix this. CMA can come back and say, you know what, we looked at it and we fixed it, but we're still going to come to the same decision. So that's, again, I think the cards are stacked against Microsoft based off of what this is sounding at least. John G, all green names, Xbox strong. Man, you know what? It's been a crazy, and thank you for the $5 super chat. It's been a crazy couple of weeks with Xbox with Redfall. There's so much negativity around it, and it's just like, people give up so easily. They give up so easily. Like, Xbox is going to be releasing so much great content over the next number of years. It takes a long time to get in all these studios and get it all working. And I honestly think, like I was thinking about this today, Starfield is going to be a generational game. Maybe one of the best games made. Maybe one of the best RPGs made. And everyone, if this game delivers, is going to just like forget about anything negative. I can't wait for Starfield. I honestly can't wait playing. And like, 2023 is an insane year of game releases, and Starfield, if it tops it, it's insane. But there's so many. I play my Xbox every day. There's so many great games coming out and to play. Negativity is too much sometimes. You got to criticize them for the things they do wrong, but man, just hop on a Game Pass. You'll find tons of great content. Okay, so where was I here? Where was I here? Okay, yeah, like I said, so CAT can say, yeah, like I see you guys in chat here, like the next 2 years is crazy. I can't wait for the June showcase. I was all on criticizing for the Redfall release with the bugs and 30 FPS, but I mean, I've played like 13, 14 hours of that. I'm going to finish the entire game, like at least the main missions and stuff and some of the side missions. Fun game. Like there's issues, but Redfall's fun. I'm not going to lie. Like I'm having fun with it. There's just, once they patch it, it'll be a better experience. But, yeah, like the games, there's just so much, and June is going to be huge. And we've said the Xbox showcase over the last 2 years, like 2021, we were like, oh, it's the biggest showcase forever, right? And they delivered. I thought 2021 showcase was great. 2022, same thing. Oh, biggest showcase ever. And I think they delivered on the showcase. They didn't deliver on the 12-month thing. Obviously, even Phil Spencer said they didn't deliver on that. This year, who knows what they're going to do? Are they going to do games coming out soon? Or are they going to try to get people hyped up for the future? If I have it my way, I'd say just show us all the gameplay. And you know what? Here's the other thing, right? Imagine, I was thinking about this as well the other day. I go a lot. I go to work and I think about games. Come home, I think about games. I'm hanging out with my wife and I think about games, and my wife's kind of, stop thinking about games, but I'm still thinking about games. Hi-Fi Rush, game of the year candidate, in my opinion. Xbox first party, okay? People already forget about Hi-Fi Rush and just how amazing that game was. Mind-blowing, and people forget that game because of Redfall. Redfall obviously is not a good release critically, at least, right? Like I'm not saying this my personal opinion. I don't think Redfall was good release because of the bugs. I think it was unacceptable to release it with all the bugs that they had. But like, no matter how you feel about the game critically from the general masses, Redfall, not good. Starfield's coming out in September, okay? I believe in Todd Howard. I believe in Bethesda. I believe this is going to be a generational RPG. Probably one of the best games released this year. No matter if there's a couple of bugs here or there, like there will probably be bugs, but that aside, I think it will still be one of the greatest games or one of the greatest RPGs. It's just in my mind, that's like where I'm going with it. I'm not trying to hype it up too much, but like, how can you not believe in Todd Howard and Bethesda with games like with the Elder Scrolls and the Fallouts, all that type of stuff, right? So I believe in it. Forza Motorsport we know that game's going to be incredible. Okay, so that's going to be 3 that we know of. Let's just say they all hit. They released 4 first-party games in a year, 1 subpar, and if they release 3 of them that are as good as Hi-Fi Rush, right? Like, I don't know what people are complaining about. Like, if that happens, if they're able to hit those 4 games released this year, I would say they are almost there. Well, they are there essentially, but minus Redfall, they're almost where they have promised to be, which is releasing a first-party game every 3 to 4 months. And people keep forgetting about that thing, right? Like people keep forgetting that was a promise that was made. And if they hit that here in 2023, just think about how crazy the future is going to be with all the studios that they have being able to hit that every single year, right? A lot of people like to stay on the negativity. That's it. That's just like to stay on that negativity. Look at Dreamcast guy. I don't want to talk about Dreamcast guy today, but I have to because that guy makes all of his money off of just bashing on Xbox. And I've watched his videos. Like his points are just so bad. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, maybe he has. Did I even speak? I gave him. I said I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I didn't even say anything there. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe he has some good points. Maybe he's going to have some good points in his video that I watched. I was on stream, I think it was last week or the week before. And it was just so bad. It was just so brutal. Like it was really, really bad because it drives clicks, it drives views, it drives super chats, it drives all that stuff, right? And it's this hustle, whatever. I'm not mad at him for his hustle. It's just, it just drives all of the traffic. But think about the fact if they release those 3 games that have been released yet, all in 2023, Forza Motorsport, or those 2 games, Forza Motorsport and Starfield, and then the surprise release potentially of Hellblade 2. I don't know. Aaron Greenberg saying it's just fan art that he's posting, but like to me, it's like, why are you trying to get people hyped up by posting that fan art? if they release those 2 games, that's 4 first-party games this year. 4 first-party games. They have delivered. No matter what anybody says, they have delivered on their promise of releasing a game every 3 to 4 months. And it's 2023. Think about what's going to happen in 2024, 2025, 2026, when all of these studios really start getting in motion and everything gets worked out that they're having issues with now. It's going to be nonstop. So I know it's like, oh, we've waited so long. But this is why, like, I'm still very, very positive about Xbox. Why I think that it's still going to be a platform that's a must-have, and I think it's still going to be the best place to play because of the amount of first-party content that they will be releasing over the next number of years. Biggity. Oh wait, you should live stream more. You have an objective opinion. I appreciate that, man. I do appreciate that. Yeah, I'm going to try to live stream more. The reason why I haven't live streamed as much recently is just because my setup is kind of hard to live stream, but I'm going to try to trying to live stream more and hopefully get a better setup where I'm not going to have to always blur out the background and stuff. So yeah, it's fun. I love interacting with you guys and appreciate it. And again, thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate that. I know we were talking about the CMA, but we've talked about the CMA enough. Let's talk about Xbox. Let's talk about Xbox more about the first party stuff, because this is just like stuff, whatever. We've talked about all the CMA stuff enough, and I'm more excited about what is to come from Xbox. So let's talk about that. But first, I want to see what this poll says. If the poll is close, you guys are fighting it out here in the poll, right? 168 votes. We got the percentages here, very, very close in terms of what you guys want Xbox to do with the $64 billion if this deal gets blocked, which is kind of cool. I like how it's close. It means that everyone has a different opinion here. What should Xbox do with $64 billion in cash if the deal gets blocked? And let's go to here. I'll go here. And the answers are, as the votes are still coming in, 171 votes. I'll wait 2 seconds here. See if anyone else wants to quickly put their vote in. 2 seconds. 1, 2. All right, I'm reading the poll. 38%. Oh, thank you for that last vote. 172. 38% of you want them to try to acquire another publisher. 33% or 32% reinvest in current studios, and 29% third-party exclusive deals. You know what? Honestly, this is a very interesting thing here. So try to acquire another publisher. Right now is the winner. I'll keep it open for a bit longer as more votes are rolling in, and it's getting like almost even. But trying to acquire another publisher, who would they acquire? That's the question, right? Like, who would be the next big one? A lot of people want them to go to Japan, and acquire like a Sega, which would be great. I mean, they have a great relationship. They've had a great relationship since the OG Xbox. Seems like a no-brainer. But I don't know if that's the route they want to go, because if we take Microsoft's word for this acquisition, and it has to do with mobile, it'd be like an EA. And we saw an article come out last week where EA said that they're still going to be the number one publisher on Xbox if the Activision Blizzard deal goes through. EA is very invested in Xbox, and it makes sense. It makes sense, right? It makes sense when you think about EA Play. It makes sense when you think about games like FIFA and Madden and how much money those games probably make on Xbox. So maybe they just bolster that relationship at some point and go and acquire an EA. And I think honestly, 5-10 years ago, I would have been like, no, not a good decision. But based off of all of the bangers that EA has been continuously releasing, and they even have the other game that looks really cool that's coming out, the Immortals of Avium. I believe they're publishing that game. Like, I think EA has turned themselves around in terms of releasing great games and great single player games. Bugs aside, we know what happened with Jedi Survivor with all the bugs, right? But you know, I think they've turned it around. I think the EA is one of those examples where like the mass criticism definitely paid off. When you look at Star Wars Battlefront 2 and all the loot box stuff, then you look at the stuff that came out where they're like, we don't believe this single player games are popular or make money anymore. How that got turned around on them, right? Now they've just released banger after banger, and Respawn is like a gold mine. Like if they got Respawn, it's a gold mine. They just don't miss. Bugs aside, I know people are gonna say, "Oh, Jedi Survivor, all the bugs," but like bugs aside, they don't miss. Apex Legends, Titanfall, Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order. Think about the Star Wars IP, and when EA got that 10-year deal and just how abysmal it was for everything until Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order came out from Respawn. So BioWare, yeah, that's another one too, for sure. Like it would be one that I think would make sense. But are they even wanting to sell? That's the question, right? Are they even wanting to sell? And then when it comes to reinvest in current studios, which is where I put my vote, 31% of you, is because I think that they have 23 studios that all have so many great IPs. They can go into the back catalog and get some old IPs like a Banjo. They can come up with new innovative ideas. We know Phil Spencer has already said we want to promote the creativity of these studios and have them go out and make games that they want to make, which I think to me as a gamer has me far more excited than the PlayStation strategy, which is the virtuous cycle. Like you think about being a PlayStation gamer, right? If all you do is play their first party games, you're playing one game, then you're sitting there and you're waiting and waiting and waiting for the same game. And then you're sitting and waiting for the same game. Yeah, they're great first party games. They're high quality. But there's nothing out there that's like surprising you at all, right? There's nothing out there that's surprising you. You know what's coming. And I guess if you don't like the art of video games, I guess that's the best way to put it, that you don't care. Chio Walker here with the $5 super chat. Appreciate that, man. If you include Ghostwire, Microsoft first released 5 games already this year. There you go. I didn't include Ghostwire. You're right. So it's like, it's why I think like the outrage and the negativity, yeah, it's warranted for things like, to a certain extent, it's warranted for like Redfall. If you believe that the game is literally the worst thing to ever grace the video game industry, if you believe that like, it's an embarrassment to everything. I get it. You can argue that because of the issues with the bugs and 30 FPS on console. You could say that they don't care about console, all those things. But like to dwell on the negativity for as long as people have been dwelling on it, to me, I don't know. I just can't do it. I'm generally a positive guy, and I think Xbox isn't doing nearly as bad as some people are making it out to be. I really don't. And I think that the future for Xbox is extremely, extremely bright. And I know we've been saying that for years, but just look at the studios they have. Just look at the studios they have. Okay. Look at all the studios they have. And unless every single studio screws up, people's tunes are going to change. People's tunes are absolutely going to change. And when Starfield comes out, if it's as a banger as I think it's going to be, everyone's tune is going to change. They aren't going to be being as negative on it. But so I was thinking about this the other day too, when it comes to gaming and like the whole industry and the entire quality argument, right? I love quality games, but I play like so many different styles of games. There's definitely people out there that are very vocal in the gaming community that literally only play just like the highest end AAA games and believe that every game should be made like that. And to me, I'm like, I love the art of gaming. Like I love looking at like the creative stuff that indie devs do. I love looking at the creative new ideas that come out of studios like Obsidian with like what they did. Like the fact that they went out and made Grounded, right? Like the fact that Xbox allowed Obsidian to go out and make Grounded is such a great thing that you would never see PlayStation do this. And I think what Xbox's strategy is by allowing developers like Obsidian to do that type of stuff. It's a far better strategy because I just love the art of maybe the game isn't for me. Maybe I'll play it for 20 minutes and I'll like it, but I love just checking out like the new ideas and creativity stuff that comes out of these studios because I love the art of gaming. Whereas there's a lot of people out there that just bitch and complain about everything because they just don't honestly like the art of gaming. That's the conclusion I've come to. They just like playing 1-2 games a year and believe that every game needs to be like that. And if it's not, then well, it's trash, right? That to me is crazy, right? It's crazy. Or just not crazy. It's just a difference of opinion. It's just a difference of opinion, which is why I gravitate towards the Xbox platform, because they allow like so many different styles of games to come out. And then I can check it out. Maybe I won't like it, but at least I get to check out what like can be done in the gaming industry. What type of new art's going to come out of this art form, which is at the core of why I love gaming. It's the art form itself, not just like, I think there's people that are attached to IPs and characters like Kratos and God of War. And then there's people that are attached to like the art. And I think I'm more kind of attached to the art. I'm not going to lie. I have my favorite IPs. Like I love Master Chief. I love Halo. Like just love them. I love Zelda. Like I got Tears of the Kingdom. You guys saw my unboxing. Love it. Right. But I love the overall art form of gaming itself. That's my little rant on that. But sticking on Starfield, there is this rumor here, which I think could be true. But again, I think it's coming from like 4chan. So again, take this with a grain of salt. And it is with the combat. One thing I will say about that first Starfield trailer, the gameplay trailer, which I thought looked good. I was pretty excited about it. And then I rewatched it a bunch of times. And I will say the gunplay, when the enemies didn't really react to some of the bullets, that was kind of, it was a bit like, okay, this game is still early-ish, or it's not complete yet. We have some rumors here. Again, take with the grain of salt because I believe it's a 4chan rumor, but it makes a ton of sense. And it says that according to the recent rumor, Doom developer id Software has been assisting Bethesda Game Studios with Starfield's combat for a few months now, which is but and I know it's 4chan, but it makes sense if they could get id Software in there to get them into having just very robust, fun, fast pace. You would say if it's like a Doom type of gunplay, I think this will drastically improve just the overall fun factor of Starfield. It says the combat has supposedly improved dramatically as a result, with it being better than the last time fans saw it. And we are going to see this in a couple of weeks because they are having an entire Bethesda Direct and they're going to give us a ton of information. Like they're having an entire Direct, they're going to show gameplay and they're going to give us more information. And we're probably all going to be on here just hyped up about Starfield after that Direct. Like that's my prediction. As with all rumors, this should be taken with a grain of salt and ultimately judged by its source, which is as unreliable as they come. This rumor has made the rounds online, including on social media like Reddit and Twitter, but it originates from 4chan. That's a big strike against it and a reason to doubt every word of it. And I agree, you should probably doubt every word of it. But at the same time, the rumor is not a stretch or a reach. In fact, it sounds like it'd be good news for Starfield. I agree with that too. It's not like a crazy rumor. We've seen crazy rumors from 4chan. The rumor monger claims that id Software joined the project back in August with a focus on improving Starfield's combat, and it is in a vastly better state than it was during the Xbox showcase last year. So let's say this rumor is true. The excitement for the showcase in June, where they're going to show off Starfield, is even higher now. It should be noted that it's not unusual for a company the size of Bethesda Softworks to see collaboration amongst its studios, and in fact, id Software is often a great source for support. For example, id Software assisted BGS in Fallout 4, with many claiming that's why its gunplay had more punch to it than Fallout 3. So ultimately, while the source is questionable, it wouldn't be a surprise if it were true, and it would be ultimately a good thing for Starfield. And that's it, right? I think this would be a great thing for it came in here and they just fine-tuned the gunplay itself. And Biggity again with the gifting of 5 memberships for Plume Network. I really appreciate that again, man. Thank you for all the support that you've been providing the channel. But and one of the things is Microsoft and Xbox, they have some of the best studios for creating first-person shooters. They should look at Starfield. I don't know how it all works there, right? Because maybe Todd Howard, it's his baby. He probably doesn't want too many hands in the pot here, trying to like do all these things with the game and not reaching his creative vision. But like Xbox has all the resources in the world. They have all the studios in the world. They have all the talent in the world to be able to make one of the best feeling first-person shooters or best feeling FPS combat in a big RPG like this. They just absolutely do. And I think that's something that's going to be a huge thing for the game itself, right? Like the combat, going through and being excited to get into combat every time you're exploring. There's going to be exploration, combat, and just like discovering new things when you're going through these worlds. You like my emotes? I appreciate that. Thank you. People don't use them very much. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Sanchez. And that's another thing too, right? Like these acquisitions, if you guys remember at the Bethesda roundtable, Phil Spencer talked about this. All these studios are gonna, if they show interest, are gonna go and help out making these games, and like that's a reason for these acquisitions. They get all of this talent included with the IPs. It's not just the acquisition of games. It's not just the acquisition of IPs. It's not just that type of stuff. It is all of the talent, knowledge, know-how, intellectual property of like technology that these games use within their game, especially like the id Tech, right? Like look at Doom and how incredible that is. All that stuff is such a huge asset to Xbox that they have over their competitors, which is why when you think about first-person shooters, Xbox is and will be and should be the primary place for first-person shooters, because they have the studios, they have the talent, and they have all the technology to make some of the greatest FPSs ever. And then if they somehow get Activision Blizzard, then it obviously solidifies that as well. So we'll see what happens with Starfield. I can't wait for June 11th. For me, the show itself is like, there's a lot that they have to do. And I've kind of given my thoughts on this on some podcasts, but what I want Xbox to do when it comes to the June 11th show is I want gameplay. Honestly, I know some people are kind of, they didn't like the 12-month thing. I thought the 12-month thing was good, but they just didn't deliver on it. So it kind of puts you in a spot where if you don't deliver, you look very bad. And I don't think Xbox wants to be in that spot again. So they won't do a 12-month thing. But what I think they should do is try to just give us some, I just want gameplay. I want to see what games are being worked on, and if these games are. So I'm reading the chat at the same time here as I'm thinking. I think I sniped the dude who was just coming in here being an idiot. So I think he should be gone now. June 11th. I want gameplay. I want to see all of the games that they've announced, not all of them, but at least some of them that they've announced. And I want to see how they are doing, how far along they are in development. I think June 11th is a show where they need to kind of instill confidence in a lot of people, because we've seen that, like I said, we've seen the negativity. I'm over the negativity. I think Xbox is still a great platform, and I think that we have lots to look forward to in the future. But there are still a lot of people out there, because of all of the influencers making their hundreds of videos, talking crap, because of the media, like. There are big media members not even fully understanding parts of what Phil Spencer said in his interview. All of that type of stuff, right? All of that type of stuff I think Xbox needs to go out there and just instill some confidence in a lot of people and in the industry itself. So I think that they show off some games that have great gameplay. They have a couple of announcements to hype people up for the future, and then what I think is what always flies under the radar, but that is extremely important, is Game Pass. Like, how are they going to get people excited for Game Pass for the remainder of this year and then the upcoming years? Like, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we get some big announcements of day one games dropping into Game Pass in 2023 that are third party deals or whatever. Whether that means exclusive or not doesn't matter. They could be releasing on PlayStation at the same time, doesn't matter. But I hope that they give us some cool deals from third party games that they've gotten secured for Xbox Game Pass. In terms of the biggest games I want to see, like, I think Avowed is up there. Like, I really want to see Avowed. I feel like Avowed is on its way and it should be coming out in next year sometime. So I really want to see gameplay from Avowed. Will we get that? I'm not sure. I would love to see Fable. I just don't think it's happening. Although Matt Booty and Phil Spencer have said that the game looks good from what they've seen. So maybe that means they will get some gameplay of it. I mean, Perfect Dark would be super cool, but I don't think there's any chance that Perfect Dark's going to be shown off. I think that one's like a ways out. I think that one is like, because of what the Crystal Dynamics has come into Perfect Dark, but who knows? I don't know if they'll have any gameplay ready to show off. I kind of want to hear what's going on with Everwild. But again, that's another one that I don't think is anywhere near. State of Decay 3 would be cool, even if it's just like an announcement as to where they are along with that game. Hellblade 2, they're going to show Hellblade 2. I'm almost positive. And it'd be really cool if they had a surprise announcement for Hellblade 2 where it's like, this game is coming out in 2023. So we know Forza Motorsport and Starfield are coming out. We don't know Forza Motorsport's release date. So I hope they give a release date for Forza Motorsport. I'm guessing it's June. When they will, I wonder when they will release Forza Motorsport. That's an interesting one. That's maybe like the October, November release, or that may be like a July release. And then you have Starfield in September, and then maybe Hellblade 2 in November or something. Never know, right? But or maybe Hellblade 2 comes out early 2024. What else? There's just so many games. There's so many games in development. Like, hard to remember every single one. It'd be cool to see something from the Coalition, not like Gears specifically, but like maybe like, because they're working with Unreal Engine 5 and they worked on the Matrix demo, maybe they give some more insight into how Unreal Engine 5 is working, and maybe show off some cool tech demo and give us some hype for the next Gears. Forza is likely October. You think, yeah. I feel like you gotta. Well, I guess there's two different gamers that will be playing Forza and Starfield. I know I'll be checking out both, but like, you gotta give Starfield like some breathing room, right? Gotta give us some breathing room if it's gonna be as big as a lot of people believe it's gonna be, and I think it's gonna be massive. I think we may get an announcement for Wolfenstein 3, potentially. Indiana Jones. There's just so many games. Right? There's so many games you can see. But if I had to break it down into like, again, what I want to see from the show is I want to see gameplay of games that are moving along to get people's confidence that, hey, we're working on games and they are coming and they're going to be coming in relatively soon and there's progress and these games do look good. I want a couple of throw-in announcements here to get excited for the future. And then I want, again, the Game Pass stuff. I want people to get hyped. I want them to hype people up to go and subscribe for Game Pass and surprise us with some games coming in day one. Surprise us with some big third-party deals. Like, there needs to be some surprises in here. There's got to be something in here that nobody thought about, nobody was able to spoil, all that type of stuff. I think it's important. But it should be a very exciting show. I will definitely be streaming it, guys. So June 11th, make sure to come hang out, check out the stream, and we can react together. But you know what, guys, I'm streaming for about an hour and 50 minutes, and the support in this stream has been insane. All the Plume memberships and the super chat stuff. I appreciate it, guys. Just for coming and hanging out and watching my videos. Couldn't ask for anything more. You know what? I will talk next gen before I leave. Did I talk next gen yet? No, I did not, but I will do that actually before I leave. I'll talk about this, and then the show, we kind of got a little bit off track. We just kind of hung out and talked about stuff, but I will talk about this because this is actually pretty interesting. Here we go. So this part's interesting. This is from Tom Warren, but this was in the CMA documents, okay? It says CMA's final Microsoft Activision Blizzard report mentions documents from September and November about next-gen Xbox consoles. These appear to be in the context of cloud gaming, so likely something familiar to Keystone. It says, slides from August 2022 describing fiscal year 2023 plans for a bunch of redacted stuff. Where does it say here? Documents, Microsoft submitted, a bunch of redacted stuff. In our view, the overarching impression from Microsoft's internal documents is that cloud gaming is expected to be growing in the area of gaming. Whilst these documents highlight that we do not consider that they suggest that cloud gaming services will stop growing. At most, we consider that these documents show more recent documents continue to discuss. Where does it say the next gen thing here? Share reference, blah, 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 document details. Microsoft submitted that these documents present. Here it is. Okay, so part F here, it says 2 documents dated September 2022 and November 2022 discussing plans for next generation consoles show that something's redacted. One slide describes something, another slide discusses something. So in the CMA documents, Microsoft does mention next generation Xbox consoles. Yes, you could relate this to cloud gaming. We know that they are working on Keystone, and we know one of the things with Keystone is that they went back to the drawing board because of the OS or whatever, or the interface, and I think that is something that is a no-brainer to put out. If they can put out a cloud box for $99 that comes with a controller, I think a lot of people are going to pick that up and buy it. No-brainer. But when it comes to the next generation of consoles, they do mention something here. And the question a lot of people I think have is like, is Xbox going to be making a next generation console? That's a part of the negativity over the last 2 weeks that people have been putting the doubt in the minds of gamers that Xbox just wants to completely abandon console, which is an absolute, it's not true. It's not true whatsoever. So if anyone's saying that, they're causing fear, uncertainty, and doubt because it generates them traffic. From what we understand, and I'm not saying that they may change their tune on this and then go and abandon console. Xbox may, we don't know, right? But what I'm saying is that from what we have understood, from the evidence that has been provided to us based off of things that Xbox has said, Microsoft has said, based off of the strategy that they have employed, is that the console is still a major part of the brand, and it's a major avenue into getting people into the ecosystem. And going forward, there's no intention to abandon the console side of gaming. And I'm sure they've already actually are working on a next generation console. Are they working on a mid-gen refresh? That's a question, because from the rumors, it looks like the PlayStation looks like PS5 is coming up with a mid-gen refresh, which will then be the most powerful console in the world, right? It'll be more powerful than the Series X. So does Xbox need to counter that is a question. And I'm sure if Xbox has any intel on what PlayStation is doing, I feel like they're probably looking at countering the PS5. I don't think we need mid-gen refreshes because we've seen literally not even close to what these consoles should be able to do. Like, it's not even, we haven't even come close to touching it. And, but then there's going to be another console. When did these consoles release? In 2020, November 2020, right? So 2020, 2027, 2028, we'll probably see a next generation console. And I do believe we will get another Xbox console. And they kind of mentioned something in here that they are working on another console, whether that's Keystone or whether that's a mid-gen or whether that is next generation. We know essentially when these consoles are released, they almost immediately start working on the next gen consoles. So Phil Spencer says the console is the core of the Xbox brand. There was an article, I made a video about this. I don't know how long ago it was. I think it was maybe last year at some point. But there were a bunch of it was from GameIndustry.biz where they interviewed some guys from Xbox that were very high up, and they reiterated, they were talking about cloud gaming, I think the Samsung TV and the Xbox console, and how they even were saying that even with all of these things, the console is still the core of what Xbox is. Like they have no intention of getting rid of it in the future. But I mean, we will see. They're putting it into their documents here. The CMA is using the next gen consoles as something to use as evidence for their decisions, right? So you would expect them to be working on something new. What that is, obviously nobody knows. We'll probably start hearing about it in the next 2 or 3 years, right? You'll probably start hearing all the rumors of the RDNAs for Xbox console or something like that. Just like how the PS5 had the RDNA 3 before it released, which was absurd for anyone to actually think that. But yeah, if there's a market for consoles, Xbox will be there, in my opinion. And I think there will be. I do think there will be there will always be some market for consoles. At least my prediction was at least one more generation. And then after that, if like Xbox isn't just going to leave the console market while PlayStation is still there, while Nintendo is still there. It wouldn't make any sense. They're not going to become just a service-based platform, because it would remove millions. Like, how many millions of Xboxes have been sold, right? How many so far have been sold? I guess we could use VG charts. It's not always the most reliable, but we can use it. They would be abandoning, no one looks at this, right? They would be abandoning, based off of the VG charts right now, 21.35 million consoles. And how many of those are subscribed to Xbox Game Pass that are paying monthly, that have been paying monthly? It's basic economics. Getting millions and millions of users paying a monthly fee and into your ecosystem, which will probably generate even more money being spent into your ecosystem by like other microtransactions, is far more profitable than just selling a console. Because when you just sell a console, right? People like my PS5. I have a PS5. You know where my PS5 is right now, guys? I'm not even gonna lie to you right now. You know where my PS5 is right now? It is. My wife's looking at me. She knows where it is too. You know where it is? It is in my closet upstairs, unplugged. It's not plugged in right now. I'm not playing it. You know how useless of a customer I am to PlayStation? I'm a useless customer to them. Sure, I bought a PS5. Great, I bought a PS5. How much money have I spent on the PlayStation Network this generation? Very little, right? And that's where all the money is made. So for Xbox to abandon 21 million potential right now, but at the end of this generation, it'll be more than that. But for Xbox to abandon millions and millions of customers on console makes absolutely no business sense, because for them, they have the money to build the console. They have the money to sink into the hardware of a console. They're $1 trillion company, but they will make vastly more money off of getting people via console to subscribe to Game Pass, spend money in the Xbox network, buy digital games, do all of these things. So they're not going to abandon console. At least not yet, until this number gets to like a very low amount. And I'm sure Microsoft in their boardroom has, okay, if we only sell this amount of consoles, then the return on investment is not worth it. That's what all these companies look at. I mean, I work in companies that do this type of stuff. It's just all return on investment. And the return on investment for Xbox right now for consoles is still significantly high, especially as we know as the generation moves on, it becomes cheaper and cheaper and cheaper to build these things, that they're probably already making profits off of the sales of these consoles. So not only are they making profits of the sales of the consoles, they're making profits off of all the money that are spent in the ecosystem, with millions of people who are still buying these, and we're only 3 years into the generation. So they're not going to be abandoning console. I know people want them to. I know the negativity says, oh, they're going to abandon console. Oh. They hate console players. No, they don't hate console players. They had a bad release with Redfall. It's as simple as that. Simple as that. But that's my rant about the next gen stuff, about consoles, all of that type of stuff. I've been streaming for about 2 hours now, guys. I appreciate all the support, guys. Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for helping me grow this channel. It's awesome. Like the fact that people watch my videos every single day is crazy to me, and I appreciate it. Happy you guys are enjoying it. I'm going to call it quits now for the stream, but like I said, I'm going to try to stream more. You guys like these, especially the Saturday night streams. If I get the time, I'll try to keep jumping on here and just talking about some of the news. We'll chat, we'll have fun. I appreciate you all. Hope you guys all have a good night. And again, if you're celebrating Mother's Day tomorrow, have a good Mother's Day, and stay tuned for my videos, and we'll keep playing games, keep having fun. Don't let the negativity destroy your fun with games, because I feel like it does for a lot of people. But I appreciate it, guys, and have a good night, guys.